Jay, is there anything we haven't talked about you'd like to talk about, or maybe a way who wants to land the plane?
I don't have a certain
No.
agenda. I mean, I just want to be as helpful as I possibly can. I don't know what is good or not good. I listen to podcasts and move on one, so I'm game for whatever you think is helpful. And,
hey AJ, that might be your clip for the.
I think this has been great.
I listen to podcasts, but I've never been on one. That might be your opening clip there.
Welcome back to the Ministry Without Hating It podcast, a ministry of Odyssey Haven coaching and counseling dedicated to the pursuit of answering the question, is it possible to do ministry without hating it? We have a theory that it just might be. I am Chad. Hi, Brenton.
Hi, how are you?
Well, for being honest, I'm a little frustrated.
Yeah.
Because we just
I want you to be honest.
I want to be honest. Not with the episode. The episode was awesome. Can't wait for people to hear it. And I can't wait to hear how AJ edited it, because we had to stop the recording at least 3 or 4 times because of my internet connection. And, it's feel super professional when things like that happen. And so I think I'm learning grace for myself in this moment. But whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you asked. So.
I did. And you know what? Nobody else is going to know, because AJ is worth his weight in gold.
That's for sure. AJ's the true all-star of this podcast.
Hero.
Yeah, yep. It's the truth. It's the truth. So, and all that to say, AJ, we've decided to give you a raise. You're gonna get twice what you were making before, at least. Maybe even 3. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Most
the
of this
occasional
might get cut.
Lunch we take him out for.
I don't even get to do that anymore since he moved.
I know.
I have to DoorDash him something. We'll see.
Wait till your area connects and things.
That's true. That's true. I did just see him. So
yeah,
we just had a great conversation with a friend of mine. I know you got to meet him today, Brenton, but a guy who pastors in the same city as I do, Pastor Jay Haugh. Really great conversation.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I felt like we connected right away, and we could be friends.
Yeah, or at least workout buddies, as people are going to find out here.
Yeah, at least workout buddies.
He said the right thing for you, that's for sure.
We will challenge each other to be better. Yes. For sure. He nailed it.
Well, let's just jump right into the episode before my computer crashes once more, because I can feel it starting to do that again. And so, without further ado, we are excited to present to you our conversation with our friend, Pastor Jay Haugh. Well, it's our privilege to welcome to the podcast Jay Haugh. Jay, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's actually my first podcast, so thank you.
Really?
Yes, ever.
Well, you're doing great.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
It can only go up from here.
I basically said thank you, and I'm thank you.
Listen, everybody's
I'm just following all the other leads.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, we're off to a great start, Jay. That's right, Jay. Describe yourself for us, so people who don't know you, describe yourself in 3 words for us.
I would say I am kind of a doer by nature. Like, I love just doing things, checking things off. I am competitive. I will compete against people, and they don't even know that they're competing against me. And then, I feel like I'm pretty outgoing. So one of those kind of come to my mind, I think, right off the bat, is kind of my doing nature, competing. And
how have you found that to play into ministry? Those 3 things. I'm really curious, especially about the competitive side of it.
I'm sure you guys are familiar with strength finders, and I know like competition is definitely up on the top of my list, but even right with that is also a includer. And so it's interesting is like, do I want to beat you? Yes, but I also want to include you. Like, so it's like there is like I don't feel like it's an unhealthy competition, but it's like I do like just competing because I want to be better, and I assume the people that want to be around me want to kind of be better. So I think it's like I don't feel like I'm a poor sport when I compete or when I don't maybe win, but I do find myself just always wanting to push myself. So if like even when working out, it's like if I'm not, it could be someone else that's not even working out. It's like I still want to maybe keep pace with someone, but even if I'm even if I don't have someone there, it's like I want to beat my previous time or something. So I'm just by nature kind of. So when it comes to ministry, it's like I do want to do well, but I also want people to be involved. I want people to experience growth and development.
Yeah. You mentioned that the workout piece, and that piqued my interest right away. I've been on a new journey this year and hit the gym almost every day, like 4 to 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And I'm always trying to bring people along with me. And, I hit new maxes all the time. I'm like, at what point does this become unhealthy to keep pushing myself this far? Because I feel that same competitive spirit, like I got to do better. I got to do more. I got to go bigger. I got to more reps, more go. Yeah. And so I feel that big time. Is that something fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. And then, I guess it can get to a point where it's maybe unhealthy or you get hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
But I just, over the last few years, I never thought I would be like kind of a CrossFit person, but I just found that it wasn't fun at the time, and it's still at times not fun, but it's like I've seen just personal growth, and I've just doing it with other people. There's like a community that happens, and I don't know, it's just been a lot. It's been very helpful and healthy. So
yeah, I find that like when I go down those, when I take care of myself and working out in some form, whether it's running or weightlifting or whatever, I am more productive during the day and I have way more energy, even though I expended way more energy in those moments. And it sets me up for the rest of anything else that I'm going to see during the day. It's like, oh, I have capacity to handle this now.
I've gotten to a point now where I don't even really like apologize for actually baking in like exercise into my weekly schedule. It's like, because I understand like how, like if I'm not healthy, as the like lead pastor, then it's like I can't expect to lead God's people really well. And I think we can focus so much on just our spiritual health, and which is obviously needed, but like you said, just getting good sleep, good exercise, it just clears my mind. There's just something about it that it's like, it's just part of my weekly rhythm and part of my,
I just think it's so good. I did this thing on my calendar where I marked it out, and it says WO workout is what that means. And I block it out so no one can schedule time with me during that point. And I was talking to my church council, and I was like, if this is hard for you, that you can't get a hold of me during this session, I just want you to change the word workout to evangelism time, because I'm always talking to somebody, and it's outside of the church, and I'm meeting new people. So if that helps you in your mind make the switch, then we'll just call it that. And it's healthy for the body of Christ. It's healthy for me. It's healthy for us, like the congregation. It's healthy for everybody all the way around. So yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
This is okay. I got to jump in here because this is probably the most Brenton has ever talked, especially up front of an interview right here. So for your first one, all you had to say was workout. And there were so many times, AJ, I wanted to jump in and make it's not a competition joke, and they just kept going. I couldn't do it. And we're only on the first question. This is insane.
I would love to work out with you sometime, because I bet it would be so much fun.
It would. It'd be great.
Well, then come on out to Iowa, buddy. Come on out to Iowa.
All right. Well,
I want to set this up just a little bit here, and we didn't do this at the top. So I mentioned to you guys before we jumped on that Jay's wife, Jen, and my wife, Lindsay, work at the same counseling center, which is how we came to know each other. But Jay is also a lead pastor at another church here in Cedar Rapids. And I've just gotten to know him over the last few years and that kind of a thing. And I only say this because the next question, being as lead pastor, we're on the stage a lot. I'm curious if you have a most awkward or unexpected moment story that you'd like to share from the stage.
There's always a handful. Whenever you're speaking, you're going to have your flubs. But I even early on, it's never a good sign when like, hey, I'm the lead pastor of, and then you say the wrong church. That's
nice.
Usually not like, it's like, because early, I mean, it's just so natural for me to say the previous church when I got on board, like, hey, I'm with, Highlands Community Church, and then I'm like, wait a second, that is not the church that I am. Haven't done that recently, thankfully. But I don't know about you, Chad, but I feel like I make up words when I talk, and so like afterwards, I can't even tell you how many times like you said this. That's not even a word.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
yes.
There was and then I think one message. I don't even remember what I was exactly talking about, but it was in Matthew 23, and Jesus was telling he's giving out the woes, and he talks about how woe to you Pharisees when you tithe mint, dill, and cumin. And I just kept saying cumin like over and over. And like, I was so confident that it actually was like cumin. And it was,
come on in.
Like, I think people were like, have I been mispronouncing this the whole time?
You actually changed the pronunciation of the word that
Yep.
day.
And I had a basket, like people got a kick out of that afterwards. I was like, ooh, yeah. I'm feeling uncomfortable even saying that.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, I know where you're going with that, but I actually, if I make up a word in real time, I actually will tell them not a real word. Not a real word. And then just kind of keep going. But the one thing I learned from somebody else a long time ago, because I'm constantly flubbing Old Testament names and that kind of a thing. And I'm just like, and it's my fault because I'm reading from the passage and I could just skip certain, verses and get to the point. Right. But, they're setting up the son of whatever. And I just learned, just say it with confidence. And that's how you say it. And that's whether that's right or wrong. People will
For
just,
sure.
Nope. That's how you say it.
Oh, that's how you say it for sure.
Yeah.
You gotta have the confidence. You can't like, you just gotta be strong and then and move on.
That's
Good
right.
for you guys. Cause I just say, you can read it and tell them to try it.
Oh no, I've given up in real time as well. I'm like, that one right there. Keep going. Anyway, so
you try it.
That's right.
You try to do what I do. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, most people can't even
compete
read
against you saying it
a verse without messing it up. So yeah,
that's right.
Yep,
that's right. Jay, what is something you wish that people would actually bother you about?
I wish they'd be like, how must I be saved? Like, wouldn't that be great if they're like, with that question, like, I was just wondering, like, what do I need to do in order to be saved? That's more of a joke, but I mean, that would be pretty awesome if more people were that curious spiritually. Although I do feel like we're in a season where I feel like there is a heightened curiosity spiritually. So,
I agree with that. Yeah.
But on a more probably serious note, I wish people were more would bother me more about like the importance of governance. That's something that I kind of backed my way into over the last few years. And by governance, I don't mean like a certain like governance model, but just like really like how like authority and responsibility. How is your church using or stewarding power? I think that if there was some clarity there, I think churches would be in a healthier spot.
What I don't want to like zero in on this for the rest of the time, but I'm curious when you say that, like what does that mean? Like pull that out a little bit more for me.
Okay. Like early on, like during interview processes, you ask a lot of questions, like, the state of the church, the health of the people. And even like early on, I was told that the church that I felt like I was being called to, they told me that they were an elder-led church. And then when I get to the church, I realize, okay, there is an elder board and an elder team, but for the first few months, I'm just observing, asking questions, and I get to a point where I just don't know who has authority and responsibility. Like, is this a decision that I can make, or is this a decision, because it's not, it was like they had an elder team, yes, but they also had a deacon board at the time. So they had two boards, they had about 9 committees. Then we had a annual meeting where congregations vote on things. I have a staff that's relatively large. And so I legitimately had no idea like who had authority and responsibility. Like, is this something that I can make? And if not, who makes it? And when there is confusion, especially at my position, there's obviously confusion across the board. And I just went on an endeavor to clarify that. And along the way, I just found it so helpful. So helpful.
Yeah. That's good.
You should write a book.
I kind of did. I mean, that was what my doctoral project was okay. On an approach to government that reflects the heart of God.
Well, look at that. We just pulled that out. I don't know if those were in the notes of things we were going to pull out, but is that something that's publicly available, or?
It is. It's not the most glamorous. I've sold 3 books.
Okay.
And I bought them all.
Yeah.
It's not really. I mean, it's a book. I mean, you make it into a book, but it's really a doctoral project, and it was very practical and for our church. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jay, we've already talked about how your role currently. You're the lead pastor at your church, New Covenant Church. Give us a little bit of if you, as much as you want, anyways, maybe of the backstory of how you found yourself in the position and role that you're in now.
Yeah, I was. Jen and I and the kids have been really actually kind of all across the states over, since Jen and I got married back in 2003, and just different ministry roles, and God has just kind of directed our path. And prior to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, we were in the Seattle area, Seattle, Washington. I was part of a church out there, a non-denominational church, and I was a campus pastor, so it was a multi-site church, only one, extension site, which was what I was overseeing. And I think I didn't preach on every weekend, but I went out there I thought lead pastor was on my mind, on my radar, and several years doing ministry out there and enjoyed it. The lead pastor retired, a new guy came in, didn't feel like that was going to be a good fit for our family personally, and so started looking at other possible lead pastor positions, and a couple churches pursued, didn't feel like it was a good fit for us. Some didn't think that I was a good fit for them, and then there was 2 churches that were interested in me, and they actually were both in Cedar Rapids. And
oh, really?
Yeah, it was really.
I didn't know that. Okay.
It was really quite bizarre, and one church, both of them, I was like, oh, this could be really, really good. Iowa for me was not like a destination. And,
amen, brother. Yep.
But
I agree.
As I was, one church was just moving at a way faster pace, and I was like, well, the search team and the chair of the search team I was like, if the people if this is like a representative of the church, like these people, then I think this would be a really good fit. And so we made the journey to Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
I can identify with that moving across the country. I moved from Oregon to Muncie, Indiana, Portland area, city to like a much smaller context. And those, although there was things happening in our city, but it was a trek, and the Lord had to move us out here. It's crazy to think that we can just trust the Lord with our lives and then leave everything and go somewhere completely different. And he plants you, and yeah.
Jay, did I hear you say this was your first time, this church, being the guy in charge, the lead?
Yep. This is my first lead pastor position.
So I'm curious about that, because I think, I'll just be honest. So this is not my first. This is my third now, where I've been the lead pastor, at least within my ministry journey. But I think I still have times where I go, wait, I'm the one that's in charge here, right? Is that supposed to be like? Have you? I mean, do you remember the moment when you kind of had that realization of like, I'm responsible for all of this?
Yeah. So we arrived like December of 2018. So at the very end of 2018, but right before the Christmas Eve services. And I remember like it was Christmas Eve service. So it's like, that's the most like visible memory that I remember having like in my mind, like standing right before I was getting up and like looking around me and seeing so many people around me. I'm like, what on earth did I get myself into? Like, what? And like, what were they thinking? Like,
that's right.
I do not feel qualified really for this.
It's real interesting. We got here, it was the end of 2020, but it was also right before Christmas. And there is something about moving and being in a new space, especially in that season, that really like, I think heightens everything within that. So I when you say it, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And there's, obviously times, just even now I've been here for 7 years where it's like, whew, I'm leading a bunch of stallions. Like, I don't know if like, I've just got to kind of if I can just stay ahead of them or unless they run me over. I just feel, I feel inadequate and, do I have the goods to do this? But I think that's healthy. I think I actually like feeling that way.
Well, okay. So tell me about that. Because that was actually one I was going to come next is, how have you pushed through that? Or it sounds like maybe you're harnessing some of that in some way.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's some of my competitive nature again, where it's like, I'm always wanting to like improve and get better. Like I never feel satisfied with like my current state. And so I love leading and being with other people. And so like, I want to put people beside me that are excellent at what they do. Like, and so as much as I'm like that's where I feel like it's not an unhealthy competition. So it's like, I'm threatened by you. I just want to get better. And I most of the people that I'm around, they want to get better.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. Yeah. Because it pushes you to be better. Yeah. What's it they say, like, surround yourself with the people that you want to be like, because like, look at the people that are around you, and then that'll most often determine what you do. Sure. And how you succeed in life, because they're the people that have input and a voice.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we typically kind of, we'll take on the kind of the characteristics of the people that we are around. Like,
yes.
That's why iron sharpens iron, and that's why, bad company does corrupt bad character. Yeah. So, that's just the reality. It's how God kind of set it up.
Yeah. This being your first time, the guy in charge of all those things, how is it different than what maybe you thought? Because before you were like, campus leading, that kind of a thing, but there is a difference when it, the weight even of being the lead pastor.
Yeah, there is, and I think some of the, just where God had placed our families in the past has, I felt like, definitely built in me some things that I think were very helpful. Like there's virtually no position within a church that I don't really have some kind of experience in. I mean, outside of some of like the like payroll, but I mean, like I've been a part of student ministry. I've been a part of church planning. I've been a part of like small groups and connections and missions, and I've been a part of a multi-site church. So I think that was a great next step for me, because even though I wasn't in charge, and some that's even a learning curve where you think about, like, how do I lead when I'm not in charge?
Right.
And like you have to learn, like, okay, like, yeah, okay, I'm not the one who can make this decision, but I do have influence, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how you lead. And so, like, I've had those areas where, even though it wasn't a lead pastor position, I essentially was a lead pastor of that specific, like, site, that campus. And
Right.
I think it just
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
allowed me to feel a little bit more comfortable going into like this church setting. It was going to be larger, but it wasn't going to be like totally out of the norm. I still had a little team, at the extension site or the multi-site campus. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if that answered your question, Chad, but that's kind of what comes to my mind.
No, I don't. I think it definitely does, and I think it's an adaptation regardless. I think it's just one of those things of, like, when I think of the first time I came into senior ministry, so to speak. All I'd ever been was a youth pastor previous to that, and even previous to that, I didn't even want to be in ministry, so it was all kind of a surprise to begin with. And then you get to that spot, and you just go. I mean, to say I don't know what I don't know is a bit of an understatement, in that. And I do remember one of the first times we got our families together. You were telling me, I don't remember how far into the times you guys when this happened, but that you had mentioned that, Jen, it was like, yeah, you're doing better than I thought you would probably be doing. And I remember hearing that and laughing and going,
it's so funny. I forgot.
yeah,
Like, yeah, she
I
totally
feel
said
like I
that. I
have
mean,
those all
like,
the time. Yeah.
yeah, it is funny though. Like, because it's like, I will say, just you answered or asked earlier, like, some words that describe you. I do feel like I am a person who flies at pretty much at the same altitude pretty frequently. Like, I don't typically get too high, although I do get excited about things. I just don't drop too low. And so
Oh,
I just
nice.
feel like I'm a pretty steady altitude. And I think she probably was right to feel that way, jumping into such a new position. She's like me handling situation. The church was in I would say, um, they were struggling in a lot of different areas. And so, like, when you come into a kind of a tenuous situation, like, how are you going to handle it?
Sure.
I can understand why she said it, but it was kind of funny. Like, I'm actually surprised you're doing as well as you are doing.
Right.
Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're still married, by the way, so
Yeah.
it's everything
Yep.
is fine. Everything's fine.
Yep.
No, I understand that. And I mean, I'll just be honest too. I mean, your church is not small either, and so for some that can be another level of intimidation as well
Yeah.
on things. And I
Mhm.
mean, we go into these things eyes open, because I've shared with you, we walked into some healing that needed to take place, and also some restructuring and things like that as well. And I think you get that in any transition, good or bad.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's one of those things. I'm always curious when someone walks into a new setting, kind of that, moment for you. I mean, what was that for you? I mean, you said the church was going between the two, and I'm curious if it was a competition between the two of them. To use your word, that's a joke. But but, like, what was it that you were like, no, I know that we're supposed to be here? What solidified that within you, especially new city, new role, all of those things that go with it?
Yeah, I mean, some of it is just the reality of like if we're not going to stay where we're at, which we knew, I think there was even more clarity. Like we just did not want to stay under the leadership that was um, coming into that setting. Just like I just knew that that wasn't going to be a good fit, and so didn't that throughout that process of interviewing with other churches, I I don't know what else to explain. Like the people were just so warm, loving. They felt appreciative. They like I just was like there was nothing in me that would say like why would we say no. I mean, it was just like the conversations were just going in a great direction. And as much as I was like, I don't really want to be necessarily in the Midwest, I would have preferred to probably be in like I'm a more warm climate, but at the same time, like it's not about warmth. It's like we wanted to be a part of a good warm community, and it just happened to be in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and honestly it's been so good. Like I would consider Iowa home now.
Yeah, I tell people that Cedar Rapids and Iowa have been the unexpected blessing for not just for me but for our family as well. So I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, outside of really January and February, it is awesome.
I don't know. There's some times in July where I'm like, can I go someplace that I don't feel like soup is my weather? That would be great. The phrase "corn sweat" was a new thing that I learned when I moved here.
Yeah. I literally live across the street from a cornfield, and we know that as so well.
Yeah, yeah. If you know, you know.
I don't think our contexts are very different from
not at all.
Iowa to Indiana.
No, they're not. They aren't. You have that context in because you've done both Indiana and Iowa. That's true. I have.
Yeah. And I grew up in Indiana, but did not.
Really?
Yeah. So I grew up.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Where in Indiana?
Yeah. I grew up in northern Indiana, not too far from by South Bend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a small town, like in between Warsaw and Goshen, Milford, Indiana.
Milford.
Oh yeah. We know it.
Yep.
I told you we were in Rochester, which was not far for a bit. Mm-hmm. This is okay. So now I'm understanding our Notre Dame Go Irish connection that we have. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. My grandpa and uncle went to Notre Dame. And so, yeah.
Well, Jay, we like to set it up at some point during our every call that we have with, we ask the question, what does ministry mean to, what does the word ministry mean to you? Or what is ministry without hating it? What does that mean to you? And maybe tease that out a little bit.
I mean, when I guess when I hear the word ministry and I personally think, okay, it involves my teaching and preaching, which I love to do, but I just think building a team is something that I think about when I think of ministry. Like I don't want to do ministry alone. And I think some of my giftings is to help build teams and create, I think, clear systems that help move the church forward. So if I'm thinking ministry, I'm like, oh, I do enjoy teaching and preaching. I feel like I'd do that for free. I won't. I need to survive. I need to survive. But
sure.
I enjoy that so much. But I also just enjoy building like a team that I like, and a team that I want to do ministry with. Like I just want to do ministry with people that I enjoy. Like it's so much better when you actually wow, I really enjoy these people, and then it's like working with them to say like how can now we build up the church? How can we have the gospel transform lives? I just think it's fun. So I mean, I don't know if that clearly answers, but I think teaching and preaching, that's definitely part of ministry. But I think the building of teams and creating systems is kind of my wheelhouse of like what I enjoy when I think of ministry.
So I think that answers the question really well. What is your approach when you're talking about, as far as the ministry goes and building teams? Like, what is your starting point within that?
If I understand what the direction is, like from where do I build it from? Like, I'm not usually wanting to, my natural inclination is not just to bring a team with me, although that, I mean, I'm not completely opposed to that, but it's like getting the lay of the land, and then like seeing like one of the challenges that I had coming into this new church was, okay, I do have a team. Is it going to be the right team? And that's where it really gets challenging and sticky, because these are lives, and and they matter, and you don't want to disrupt people's world and lives, but at the same time you want to be effective. And so there were, I would say, the bulk of the people that were on the team when I arrived are not on the team anymore. And that's really, honestly, that is probably one of the hardest parts about ministry. And I think that the transition, I would like to think that it went as smooth as it possibly could. And but I think the church as a whole, I think, embraced it, although it was difficult, because they saw that was a need that needed to be made. And sometimes people don't want to make those hard decisions. And, but then it's like, okay, now that I like have the ability to start creating a team, it's like, who? And like, I'm just looking like, who are the natural people that have already been in the ministry? That my first inclination is like, is there anybody here? Doesn't have to even be on staff yet.
Right.
That clearly could do this. And I was just able to identify like, oh, this person clearly has the chops to do this. And actually, I think that's what has built trust, because anytime you make a change, especially early on, like, you are withdrawing trust, and that you have to recognize that, I think, early on. So any type of change is like, okay, so what can I do to deposit trust all along the way? And like, that's like, I'm always thinking deposit, so that when I have to withdraw, people are like, okay, that makes sense. And so early on, being able to bring people on the team that they were already known, loved, and respected leaders within the church, like they weren't on staff. I think that was some quick depositing of trust, so that if I needed to bring someone from the outside, again, that's another withdrawal, because they don't know that person.
Right. That's right.
And so that was, I think that was some wins when I was like depositing or withdrawing trust.
How did that, when you came into the context and you're looking at your teams that were already there, how did that affect you personally as you're identifying, something's not going to work, and you have to have these conversations and move people into their next season of life? You can see it, but maybe they don't quite see it yet. Or how is that affecting you as a leader?
That's good.
I've used the language, it was hard, not hard.
Sure.
Like, it is hard, because like, I'm just trying to put myself, I've been in situations where I wasn't actually a good fit for a church, and it can be painful.
Yeah.
And you can feel the shame, but at the same time, it's like, I am so thankful for how God has led me to different places. So I have to kind of hold that tension. It's like, it's not like I don't understand. I think I do understand. And I just think that it takes a lot of conversations, and each situation requires a different, it's a different situation. Yeah. And because, I mean, the former lead pastor was on staff when I first arrived, and like, that was another interesting dynamic. And like, so it was just so many different things, and that one took a different flavor.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of risk involved as you're doing these things as well. And trusting that you're hearing from the Lord right. And not just right, but and navigating the interpersonal relationships that you have and doing right by people, even as you're like, this is not the right fit. That's a big piece of all of those. And
yeah.
Well, and no wonder that you had some confusion about who's in charge of what. If you had the former lead pastor still on staff there with you, I can't imagine having to navigate something like that. I mean, how did you walk through that?
And he was such a great man. And so like when I was going through the interview process, it was like, I was like, whoa. I mean, flags were already going off. Like, so you're telling me like the guy that was in charge was asked to step aside and he is still on staff. And so I knew that going into that scenario, I was like, whew, well, definitely going to have some uncomfortable, at least some honest conversations with this guy, because like, how is he feeling? And what was interesting, this was so, I mean, it's interesting to now like think back through that, because it's been a number of years now. So I'm actually so I'm doing kind of the stealth visit. I'm talking to this individual, and he really was. He's like, if I couldn't support you, Jay, I wouldn't be here. And like I sense like, oh wow, like okay. He's like, I'm for you. I will leave if I could not generally support you. So that was helpful. Now, so like my flag kind of went down there, but which was really interesting is that like, so going into these meetings, I was like, okay, my biggest issue is probably going to be with this former lead pastor. And I quickly realized that it's not going to be him. There was another younger guy, basically my age, that had stepped in almost like as an interim lead pastor to lead, to teach, to preach. And I immediately was like, just by body language, I was like, that's going to be the more uncomfortable conversation. And so I met with this guy. I was like, hey, how are you feeling? Because if I'm you, I would feel hurt, upset, like, why not me? And because clearly he's kind of functioning as the lead pastor, as they're looking for the lead pastor. And I could just even feel like the weight of his countenance, like, yeah, this has been really, really difficult. And I was just able to share, I get it. Like, I was at a church where the lead pastor retires. To be honest, I thought I was going to be like kind of the natural step in position. I was told years prior that this position is not going to be a stepping stone for that. Like, it's not like, but I just felt like I felt like I had the ability to lead out the church, and they said no. And I was like, that's fine. So, I mean, I was wrestling with the shame. I mean, why not me? Why not enough? And so, and then, so I think I could feel and resonate with what this individual was feeling. And so I just had to affirm like, hey, I get it. Like, that's hard. And I've listened to your messages, and I think you have the goods to be a lead pastor. And I would encourage you to look for a lead pastor position. And I just told them, like, I'm not trying to put a foot on your back. Like, I'm not trying to push you out. But if you know, and I sense you do know that you want to be a lead pastor, I want to help you get to that. And so he was one of the first ones on the team that was then took a lead pastor position, a few months down the road.
Wow.
It's a really healthy perspective.
Yeah, really.
Go ahead, Chad. Really.
Wow. Well, no, I think it's actually a really great segue, because I know you're involved with helping develop a tool. I know it's because we've been helping with that in some ways, and a tool called Ecology, but it's specific to team building and bringing people on and making sure you've got the right fit and using some of these things. Talk to us some about that. Yeah. It sounds like this is some of these stories that you're coming at. That has helped birth some of this. And I know you're working with somebody else, but talk to us about that.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. It's our organization is called Ecology. So EKKOLOGY. So ecology.com. And yeah, I think we, and by we, mostly Alex. Alex is really the founder of it. I served on staff with Alex for a number of years, so he has just a ton of pastoral experience, and he has since left ministry, got his PhD in industrial psychology, and he's got a PhD in creating assessments, and his current position right now is helping organizations like firefighters and police officers hire well. And I think you would even testify like how challenging it is. Like when you don't know an individual, like bringing someone on staff it feels like, oh, like, do they really have the ability to do this? Like it's so easy to hire based on charisma rather than necessarily competency. And this tool, this assessment is really geared at helping churches hire with greater confidence so that this individual can lead with clarity. And I am actually, we're really on the front side of it, but I am super excited about what this tool can offer for churches, because it's not only going to allow churches to, I think, have a better understanding of, like, by understanding, I mean like the tools in the survey is really like scientifically validated to show a person's effectiveness, like their effectiveness to actually do the work of the ministry. Because I mean, I love like personality profiles. I think those are so helpful when it comes to teams, like whether it's the Myers-Briggs or Strength Finders or Enneagrams, like those are all great. But you know, the fact that I am an ESTJ or an Enneagram 3 doesn't mean I'm going to be an effective pastor. I mean, it just tells you how I'm a little bit wired, but it doesn't say like, oh, he's actually good at what he does. And this tool is like measuring all types of things. So like Chad, you know, you've taken the test. So it's measuring 8 core pastoral competencies. It's also measuring personality stuff, but it's also going into like emotional intelligence. It's looking at narcissism. It's looking at like, how do you, like the judgments, like you'll put you through a bunch of different scenarios where it's like, how would you handle these situations? And it really does a great job of saying, yeah, this person could do the job or can't really do the job. It also provides a developmental plan, which I love about it. It's like, oh, these are areas where I do struggle in these areas. It's great for the team that way as well.
I was going to say, having taken it is very robust. But also, I'm glad that you mentioned the developmental side, because we also had our team take that as well as a means of helping you guys build the research and that type of thing. So kind of beta testing, but even getting the results and being able to talk with team. I think I even told you there was one on our team specific were like, that's not me. That's not me at all. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm literally holding a mirror up. Like, this is you. And this is a good thing. You know, this is not, you know, and it's just really, it's a really, really robust and really helpful tool, I think.
Yeah, I'm really super excited about it. I think it's going to be very, very helpful.
Yeah. To hit on that competitive thing that you had talked about, I feel like I'm very similar, and I'm doing assessments in some form or another all the time, and looking at where are my blind spots as somebody that wants to grow, wants to develop more. Those are so helpful. And as like in leading something like this, a lot of times the Lord has equipped you, like senior pastors that are doing the preaching and teaching, and they might be very competent in that area, but didn't give a whole lot of an HR background or an administrative background, because they're evangelistic and more in nature. Yeah. And so assessments and things like that would be very, very beneficial to the church at large.
Yeah.
Well, and even you had mentioned, we often look at charisma over competency. And I think you could also, just to throw another C word in there, character is something that's often overlooked within that, and we even make we make some allowances for, oh well, that's no big deal because we'll take the good with the bad. But when you think of those that you want to surround yourself with, and maybe even those that last within ministry, character really, I'd rather take someone with higher character and a lower charisma on certain things any day. Would you agree with all that?
Yeah, and that's what's so helpful is that this kind of like will like flag some areas where you can just dig in deeper too, of like, all right, based upon your scores, here are some good questions to kind of go a little bit deeper to see like what is their character.
Yeah. I'm curious, as you've developed this tool and maybe even worked with, I'm assuming with maybe on your team there, what have been some things that have surprised you or that you weren't expecting when it came to results, or even as you've worked with others in helping develop this?
Yeah, we're still kind of seeing more and more like interesting correlations, like there's some things like about like if a church is more like discipleship oriented, like their missional presence is lower. Like, so there's going to be some different things that we're noticing which kind of like makes sense. Like, so if you're so like, and which was very helpful for us as a team, like we care deeply about development and equipping that if we're not careful, like missions and evangelism can take kind of a back seat. And what we've done is like, okay, that is true. And that hasn't been the heartbeat of our church as a whole. So we need to like, how do we hold both of those well? Because my bent, to be honest, is more equipping and discipleship oriented. Like I wouldn't describe myself as an evangelist. Like I preach the gospel and will present the gospel when I preach, but I'm just, evangelism is not like as high as like discipleship. And so our team has focused a great deal over this last year of like the importance of like, how do we move that needle and bring it back more in alignment of evangelism. And it's been, honestly, I don't know if transformative is too big of a word, but it's been so good for our church. Like we are seeing like greater movement, and stories are just bubbling out everywhere when we start like by our new vision statement that we've like created within the last few months. It's been
wow,
something. Yeah.
Wow. That's really interesting. I think I would actually say the exact same thing when it comes to my own gifting and within that, especially when you do like the fivefold, the APIS tests. Evangelism is always pretty low for me as well, and I am more of an equipper, discipleship, that kind of a thing. And it's really interesting when you think of that, because I think it's like within you need all five full ministry gifting to be at play. Mm-hmm. And I think that certain churches excel in different things, but that's not for the forsaking of the rest of it as well. And how it's really, really interesting to actually have some self-awareness of that, of like, oh, we really could grow in this and do this differently. That's really, really fascinating.
Mm-hmm. And the assessment does have like at the very front side of it, like kind of a ministry profile, like what's your archetype, kind of like the fivefold, like so it'll kind of like show you, are you a teacher? Like I remember from your profile, like you're the teacher, but there's also like mine was executive, meaning it's more of like I focus a lot on systems. Like I'm just a systems based kind of guy, but there's another archetype or profile was the evangelist and the reformer and the sage and the shepherd, like, and the innovator, like. And I think that's so helpful for our team to say like, okay, wow, we have a bunch of teachers, or wow, we have a bunch of reformer, like that actually says something about like your dynamic. So like we actually didn't have, like, at least on my like lead team, the people that directly report like to me, like no evangelists.
Yep.
And so like we need, like, so like that's a gap.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've spent
that's good
this last year, like, okay, we need help, like, in this area. We need to grow in this area.
Yeah, that's good.
We just came to a realization here in our own context that on my team, almost everybody is like shepherd, teacher, shepherd, and we don't have any evangelists and any in the like the apostolic future. And as we were looking at that, we're going, what do we do about this? Because we're real heavy on one side, and I see a gap. I mean, you see the gap, and we feel the gap, and yet internally we're like, okay, so we know now what? How do we? And so prayerfully, that's a place to lean into and begin to get some training and understanding, and then desire and move forward in those.
Yeah, you need that. I mean, like, it's hard to move forward if like everyone's kind of the same. Like, you just literally, okay, here's a need. I need to bring this on. And sometimes what's really challenging, like, I don't have the beans. I don't have I don't have the ability to bring necessarily like that person on. So that's where it gets a little challenging, but that's where it's like, then you got to figure out like who is someone that maybe has that within the church that is high capacity, that can be a part of that. Without being paid for that. Like,
it's funny. I was just telling somebody last night, there was a season, I remember I heard one of my mentors say, everything that you need is already in your church. And I remember thinking, you don't know my church. What are you talking about? We're small, like, I don't, like you said, I don't have the funds to bring in someone to do whatever. And, but it really is, there's a perspective shift in me. I need to actually stop and look around and go, these are the gaps. That's why I have this self-awareness now to be able to course correct in some ways. And the idea was that we needed to look around and actually seek out ways to empower others as well. So,
yeah, I think we can downplay how important and how powerful that actually is, not just for like the lead person, but just even like the development of our people. But I've often said, like, I can't be a solo pastor. Like, that was one of the, like, based upon my nature, I was like, I just don't think I could be, like, it'd be really hard for me to be, the solo pastor of an area. But then I quickly realized I for sure can. I'd have just a different perspective. Again, like I am never going to do ministry alone. Like, I will always like just find people that I'm going to do ministry with. So even if I couldn't afford a staff, I will just find the people that God has placed around me and build a team that way. Because ministry alone, that is brutal.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Jay, this has been super helpful and practical, especially when we start talking about teams and that kind of a thing. What is something, as we conclude our time, that maybe it's with teams, maybe it's with ministry in general, but what are some things that encourage you, or maybe some encouragement that you would pass along to someone who's listening right now?
I am excited about, honestly, a lot of different things. I am excited about the assessments that we've created that will help. I really do want to be helpful with churches on hiring with confidence so that pastors and leaders can lead with clarity. But I am really actually excited about more of the idea, like, the gospel really is the power to transform lives. Yeah. And I have been so encouraged yet again, like, when we are faithful and bold to declare it, like, lives are being transformed. And like I shared earlier, like, we have a new vision for our church family. And we just I met with the members this last summer, trying to get them in the know first, like, this is what's coming, which is actually maybe another conversation for another day, like, with leading change, like how to do that well. That's been very interesting. Like, get people together quickly and just have multiple meetings so that people understand, like, this is what we're doing, but this is why we're doing it. When people have a clear why, that's not new. I mean, that's Simon Sinek, start with the why. But when people do have a clear why, they're more inclined to, like, okay, I'll get behind what's going on. Because if you're going to change the what, this is what we're going to do, and they don't have an understanding of why, good luck with that. I mean, like, that is hard shift. So sorry I got, but
no, you're good.
Like our vision is like, by 2030. So it's a 5-year vision. Like by 2030, New Covenant's going to be a church where believers become leaders. So we're still focusing on, equipping, but who engage people in our area with 230,000 gospel conversations, personal invitations, and acts of service. And so we have this big audacious goal of, like, we want to reach this area, and anybody and everyone can be a part of it. Like acts of service, like what can we do to serve people well, with the hope of having, again, like, all right, maybe from your serving, you can invite them to something, invite them to your home, invite them to coffee, invite them to a group, invite them to a connected event, invite them to church. And then from that, like, okay, well, how can we begin to talk about Jesus? Like, gospel conversations doesn't mean you have to go through the whole gospel, like gospel presentation. You don't have to give share the 4 spiritual laws necessarily, but you might be asking, like, well, what do you think about Jesus? What's the purpose of him? Like, share your testimony. Like, and what we're doing is, like, we're just constantly dripping this into everything, and we have people sharing stories. So we're just getting stories after stories of simple things, like, this is the acts of service they're doing this week, this is the invitations they're doing this week, and this is the gospel conversations, and it's just creating some incredible momentum. Like, the gospel really does have the power to transform a life.
That's good. And a good reminder. And it's not I think it's simple, yet not, it's very profound at the same time. And so, really, really great. So tell us how people can find you. Are you on socials? Do you got a website that people can check out, or to communicate with you further?
Well, I mean, the church website is ncbc.church, but you could check out, if you're interested about, developmental plans for your team, or for you yourself and your team, and helping you really ensure that you're actually going to hire someone with confidence. You can go to ecology.com, so EKKOLOGY.com, and that's an easy way to get a hold of me, or check out more information in those areas.
Jay, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for enduring all of my technical difficulties. And when we actually listen to this, it's going to be AJ's editing wizardry that has just made this whole thing. But you have been a great guest. Thank you for really starting off your podcast journey with us. We'll always remember that when you're this big name podcaster someday, and just grateful for your time.
Yeah, sure. No, thank you. I enjoyed the conversation.
Thanks again for listening. If you'd like to connect with our guest, we have made ways to do so available in the episode show notes. And if you'd like to connect with us further, support the podcast, or sign up for show updates, just go to withouthatingit.com to get started. And don't forget to subscribe to Ministry Without Hating It wherever it is that you get your podcasts, so you don't miss out on our future episode releases. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.